top table, honoured guests, athletes of the University of Strathclyde Sports Union. There are three types of people in this world. There are those who wear maroon. There are those who aspire to wear maroon. And there are those who want to be average. It is my privilege and pleasure to give thanks on your behalf to a number of people. But before I do that, it's only right and proper that I tell you that this year, for the first time for a while, I've actually booked a table for my wife and I on Valentine's night. The bad news, it will end in tears because she's not very good at snooker. Let me echo James's comments about the contribution that the staff have made. From Leanne, the font of all knowledge of the Sports Union, Fraser, Alicia and Ross, who've been with us a short time but made a significant contribution. We thank you all for everything you've done. I know that you will help us make everything better as we move forward. The sports ball also allows me to give you an ideal opportunity to publicly thank all my staff from the CSR. So to Anne-Marie, Scott, and all my staff, I'd like to say thank you to them for everything they've done during the year. It would also be remiss of me if I didn't reinforce James's vote of thanks to your executive, who have given freely of their time. They navigated the challenges of the past academic year, and they're going to hand over the Sports Union in a strong operational and financial position. It's lovely to see the presidents from the other sports unions here. 2 nights out of 3 is not bad for some of you to be able to have the stamina. But as most of you know, it's usual for me to try to give you a little insight into some of the people that you've elected to the high positions of the Sports Union. In some years, this is considerably easier than others, with certain individuals dishing the dirt is almost a daily occurrence. But this year, it wasn't. Even earlier this week, when I was seeking information from my usual source, and it's okay, Leanne, I won't name you, I was told that really there was nothing on any of them. It was very disappointing. However, let's think about Ali Gillis. The football guys will know what a complex soul Ali Gillis is. And you would not expect anything different from a young man moved from Glasgow at the age of 8 to the Isle of Lewis. For example, there's some confusion, I believe, about the ideal female companion for him. He's been known to date women in their 30s. He's been known to date women in their teens, often on consecutive evenings. There also seems to be an attraction to women who may have that unattainable quality, like those studying at Cali, or being a fixture or events assistant and a junior world curling champion, and even, I believe, a sports union president. But let's be fair. Apart from the odd fire extinguisher incident at Hong Kong Express, it'd be easy to think that Ali Gillis is a quiet, clean-living young man and a role model. Unfortunately, there are 1 or 2 incidents that might just tarnish that. And let's be clear, we're not talking about the time just having moved to Lewis that the teachers were worried about the influence that this Glasgow man might have on the island children. It wasn't the time he climbed up the drain pipe onto a two-storey roof and threw off all the footballs, tennis balls and frisbees to his classmates. We might be talking about his last day at the Stornoway Nicholson Institute, when the school heating system had broken down and Ali took a bucket of rotten fish into the school, and he and his pals took off one of the ceiling panels and hid the fish. From what I've been told, the smell was pretty bad a day or two later, but it was unbearable a week later. And even the janitors promised to keep his name out of it if he would tell them where the fish were. But we certainly are talking about the Crime Watch incident. Ali and a friend had been talking outside a pub in Stornoway, and they felt compelled to chase this miscreant who had wronged them. And that miscreant ran into a block of flats and entered the ground floor flat. When Ali kicked the door open, it flew wide open, and on seeing them enter, the miscreant left equally as quickly through the living room window. Being disciples of fairness and justice, Ali and his friend decided that this man required a lesson, and they were the people to be the teachers. They turned every piece of furniture upside down, emptied all the cupboards and wardrobes, and put the contents into the bath. Now, if I told you that it later transpired that the miscreant was only visiting Stornoway for the weekend, found the flat door open, and entered to try and escape his chasers, then I'm sure you'll not be as surprised as Ali and his friend were to hear that a couple of days later, the police were investigating a rather bizarre break-in where a resident had returned from a weekend away to find his ground floor flat had been turned upside down, but nothing had been stolen. To make matters worse, Ali found out he actually knew the guy whose flat it was. Friends, I know it's hard to believe that this man has managed to see himself elected to such an exalted position as Vice President of the Sports Union and organise such a great ball. But please stand, raise your glasses and toast Ali Gillis. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know our Vice President Development, Ali, and our esteemed President and Association VP Sport and Wellbeing, James, you'll also be aware of the Friends theme that they share. Ali has, like Chandler, had a woman called Monica in his life, whilst James takes incredible pride in his likeness to the character Ross Geller. Now, James has had a challenging start to his year where he was faced with interviewing for staff roles and a number of PCIS coaches, and it's a testament to his abilities that not only did he manage to make some excellent appointments resulting in an exceptional team that we now have, but he also managed to guide the executive to maintain the business of the sports union. I would commend to you James's work over the year. He's been hard-working and conscientious in carrying out his duties and the manner in which he has represented both the university and the sports union. I guess a 10 a.m. meeting the morning after the Edinburgh Sports Ball has taken it a step too far. Now, James, Ross, Mr. Goggles, or Anakin Skywalker, as he's known to some, has not always been that man, the mature and sophisticated man you see before you. As well as being a Thomas the Tank Engine and Pokemon fan, you probably should know that he's appeared in an ABBA tribute show and he's played his trumpet on the children's TV show Bits and Bobs. He is also a little accident prone. I believe that at his Legoland Learn to Drive school, which explains a lot about his driving. He nearly damaged his future prospects when he accidentally stood on the accelerator when trying to get out of the car. Also, when he and his dad Phil were walking down from the top of the Eiffel Tower, he walked through the middle of a live French TV interview. His swimming career, illustrious though it is, was almost cut short prematurely when he tried to take a shortcut across the corner of the pool, overbalanced, fell, and managed to get his legs stuck between the ladder and the pool wall, requiring the centre staff to come and dismantle the ladder to set him free. But he is, though, a man of many talents. Who amongst you has the capacity to wake up their sister by playing the trombone in the morning? Who else can pile a peel of carrots and end up saving only the peelings? Who else can make a dog draft excluder at home economics only to have the cleaners throw it out because they thought it was scrap? And finally, Fraser tells me, and some of you may have noticed this week, that James has been a bit fidgety and restless, a bit more than normal. And in particular, while he was sitting at his desk, he was continually adjusting his trousers. Now, it eventually got to Fraser, and he said to him, "James, for heaven's sake, what's the problem?" And James said, "Well, Fraser, it's just I'm not used to wearing a thong." And Fraser said, "A thong? When did you start wearing a thong?" He said, "Ever since my mum found it in the bedroom." Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to be upstanding and raise a glass to your president, James Reid? And finally, ladies and gentlemen, members of the University of Strathclyde Sports Union, we bleed maroon.